Do you know why I'd rather build a 7-figure business selling something for $5 than $5,000? It's because I can easily sell 100 to 300 of these every day automatically, and then turn a good portion of those buyers into a $5,000 to $10,000 client within 7 days. Now, what I love about this model is that because of that low price point, every single day we get hundreds of new customers for free. Our Facebook group grows by hundreds of people, and of course, so does the email list, the SMS list, and on top of that, we make good affiliate commissions simply by mentioning products that we use ourselves in our own business. And we do all of this without having to create and post content 24/7 and share every detail of our lives, without tricking people into long pitch fest webinars or strategy calls, without overpromising and under-delivering. In fact, we do the opposite. And as I will explain to you in just a moment, we also do this without a big advertising budget. In fact, you can start getting customers with as little as $50. My name is Robert Nichelius, and I'm about to share something with you that's going to allow you to do what 99% of other business owners can't do. I'm going to show you how to build an automated selling machine that generates new customers for you every single day. And then I'm going to show you how to take those customers and automatically turn them into high-paying clients. And just in case you didn't already know this, high-paying clients, that's where the real money is. The problem is nobody really seems to know how to acquire them without losing a bunch of money or without risking a lot of money. And I'll show you how to do it in this video, and that's going to allow you to get at least 100 new customers per day and then turn those into high-paying clients, and in some cases, ultra high-paying clients. I'll show you how to build a massive community and a following faster than you ever thought possible, and really impact people and change their lives based on the value that you have to offer to the world. So here's how all of this came about. By 2017, I had built a very successful online business that pretty much ran without my attention, okay? Up until that point, all I really cared about was me having, the freedom to do what I wanted. And since my online business allowed me to quit my job, travel the world, I moved to a bunch of different countries, and I was able to go about my day pretty much however I wanted. I sort of reached the biggest goal that I had at the time. My dreams became my reality. But then, I met a girl, she became my wife, and we had kids. We had one, and then we had two, and then all of a sudden, it was less about just freedom for me, and it was more about being able to support a whole family of 4, but still do cool things, buy a dream house and put the kids in private school and getting that luxury SUV that I always wanted. My priorities shifted from just freedom for me to freedom for the 4 of us, plus, a really solid bank account. So as a second source of income, I took all of the lessons, the strategies, the tactics, and the experience of, building that first successful online business. I packaged it into an online course and a coaching program to go along with that. But there was one problem. I couldn't get anybody to buy it. It turns out it doesn't really matter how good your course is, how great your coaching program is, and how many lives that you can impact. If you don't have a predictable and sustainable selling system, you're not going to sell anything. At the time, everybody was running webinars, so I said, okay, well, I guess I'll try that, right? So I went out there, I found a webinar guru, I built my first webinar, I launched ads at $100 a day, which was, a scary amount to spend every day with no sort of guarantee of a return. The reason it's scary is because unless you really know what you're doing and you're spending that money every day, you're kind of praying that it's going to work. And if it doesn't, well, then you don't know how to fix it. All you know is you have to spend another $100 the next day and the next day, and you still don't know how to fix it. And of course, that's what happened with me. So on day 1, I got a few leads, 0 sales. I was like, okay, what do we do here? Let's do another day, right? So day 2, $100, couple of leads, no sales. Day 3, $100, no sales. On day 4, I couldn't take it anymore. I just shut the whole thing down. I pulled the plug entirely. It was a total failure, and I just sort of gave up. But I wasn't willing to give up on the whole thing yet. So I went out there and I found a second webinar guru, okay? I rebuilt this webinar, but this time I didn't want to risk more money on ads, so I decided I'm gonna do an organic launch. And I got 1 sale for $497. And the only reason I got that sale was because I had lowered the price from $997 to $497 because I needed one person to buy it to give me like a confidence boost. So yes, I got a sale, but I had to lower the price, and that was really the only sale that I ended up getting. So there I was, I had another failure on my hands. But again, I wasn't fully ready yet to, throw in the towel. So I was gonna keep going. But really, the worst part of this second launch was that it was so exhausting to create content and pray that the Facebook or Instagram or YouTube algorithm would start to, spread my content. So, it didn't work very well. It worked really well years ago, but now there's simply too many people posting too much great content in order for you to run a sustainable business based on free traffic from content. So there I was, like I said, second attempt, second failure, but I then decided I'm gonna give it one more try before giving up altogether. So I went out, I found a third webinar guru and tried his formula. And of course, as you may have guessed, I failed again. And at this point, I threw in the towel. I gave up on the dream. I didn't know what else to try. Then fast forward to October 2018. I meet this guy online. His name is Alan. I met him through some of my online business friends. I knew a bunch of people that were paying him anywhere from $10,000 to $100,000 to help them scale their business. But I didn't really think much of it at the time. But then I found out a couple of things about Alan that kind of got my attention, right? So number one, I found out that he had 22 number one offers on ClickBank, and he had been involved in over 100 successful product launches and offers altogether since 2004. I found out that one of his clients did $50 million in sales. I found out that he owned and sold a supplement company. He also owned and sold an ad network. And I found out that he was the inventor of the video sales letter that uses the hero's journey, which some of you marketers out there might be familiar with. Anyway, the list goes on, right? The thing about this was, the really crazy part was I never heard of him, and neither had any of my friends that weren't paying him. So this confused me a little bit, because I always thought the best marketer is the one that everybody knows about because they're the best at marketing, right? But I realized that's not the case. And oftentimes it turns out that the best marketers in the world are people that you've never heard of. They're simply out there in the field, doing marketing and not teaching it or talking about it. In any case, at some point, as I was kind of befriending Alan and getting to know him online, he showed me one of his clients' offers, and it was an ebook doing, I think it was close to 1,000 sales per day, making $1.2 million a month in revenue. And it didn't really hit me right then and there, but I remember about a week later, this idea popped into my head, and I wonder where it came from. And this idea was hey, why don't you write a book instead of trying to sell this course through a webinar with the, $997, right? And I was okay, that's not a bad idea. So I started writing that same day, and I did so every day for the next 2 weeks until my first book was finished. And I even went into the Keynote app on my Mac and I made the book cover myself, right? I didn't tell anybody about this. So I went to Facebook once I'd finished it. I drafted up a post about this book launch to my giant Facebook following of 2,000 friends, right? So I made the post, and then I'm kind of hovering over that post button for what felt like forever. At this point, again, it had been almost a year since I put that dream of having my own 7-figure coaching business on hold. And here I was about to give it yet another try. And again, that fear of okay, if it doesn't work this time, then I don't know what to do, it was coming back. So at that point, I'm okay, if this doesn't work, I will be completely out of ideas. And I remember the really sad thing, the thing that really stuck with me was that if it wasn't gonna work, I was gonna have to admit sort of once and for all to myself that this dream is officially dead. No more daydreaming about putting my kids in private school and traveling around in first class as a family, staying in luxury hotels and purchasing our dream house, the car, all those things. I would have to stop dreaming about those because that dream would be gone. But eventually I was okay, screw it, let's go for it, let's see what happens. And I then remember to not, I posted it and I proceeded to not check my Facebook for about 24 hours out of fear of, again, finding out that my dream would be dead. But eventually, I waited about a day, and then finally I mustered up enough strength to go see how my Facebook post had performed. And I was really surprised. The post had over 300 comments, and once I got the link to purchase and sent it to everybody in the comments, I opened up my PayPal account and I was just watching, ding, 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 watching the sales coming in. And it was a very, very, very exciting time. And then 48 hours from when that post went live, I went and checked, and I had sold 102 copies and made over $6,000 from that one post. And at that point, I realized that people love books. They're already buying books. And On the flip side of that, they're so sick of gambling $997 for an online course sold through a webinar only to hope or to pray that there's some piece of information in there that's gonna work for them. So instead of that, I gave everything away in the book for next to nothing, and people got it, and they bought it, and they really, really enjoyed it. So at this point, I'm really excited, right? 102 copies sold in 48 hours. I finally found something that kind of proved to me that there is still hope here. I found something that worked. And I don't know about you, but I'm the kind of person who I'm never satisfied, right? I always want more. So of course, the next thing I did was to run over to the Facebook Ads Manager. I uploaded my first ad, and to be honest with you, it worked surprisingly well. We started getting sales the very same day that I uploaded the ad. I started getting sales for the book, and I think the budget was like $100. So it was working not just to those people on my friends list, but it was working to cold traffic as well. However, that didn't last very long. It lasted about 24 hours that the cold traffic thing or the paid ads was working, and then it kind of tanked and I was unable to get it to work again. So again, that initial excitement evaporated and my dream was put on life support once again. But at this point I was kind of talking to Alan on a daily basis. We were talking every day, and so I didn't really expect anything or think much of it, but I just sent him the link. I'm like, hey, check this out. And I kind of told him about the results that I had, both from the, launching to my Facebook profile and also with the cold ads. And he kind of perked up. He got really excited as he was like checking out the sales page. And I was like, what's going on here? Why is he so excited about this? And the reason he was excited about it is because he knew that we were onto an offer that was actually going to work. It just needed a little bit of tweaking, right? So together with Alan, we became partners. We rebuilt the offer in order to work for cold traffic. And we ended up building a 7-figure business selling $5 ebooks. And you want to know how you really know that you're doing it right and that things are, going the way they're supposed to be? It's when everybody, especially the people that are crushing it in the industry, like the big names, when they start copying you, that's when you know that like, okay, we're onto something here. So they copied our ads, our sales pages, everything that they could get their hands on. But there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than what you kind of see, right? So eventually most of those failed. And what everybody sees on the front is usually not the thing that makes it work. It's kind of like that iceberg, and the devil is kind of in the details. It's the things that you don't see. It's the things that you don't know that are gonna kill you. But apart from all the people copying us, even the big guys in the industry, we had more and more people coming to us because, even friends and so on that were in the industry, they could see that it was working, it was doing really well. So more and more people came to us, they kind of asked for help and, asked how we were doing it. And so we decided to open the doors to a private invite-only program. We let in 65 people. They paid us somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000, depending on when they joined. And here's what happened. This is Mike Gandia. He came to us being stuck at just $10,000 a month in revenue, and within months of using this model, he had his best month ever and did $240,000, and he averaged $100,000 a month in revenue for the entire year. And the really cool part about Mike is he doesn't even write his own books, yet pulls in $240,000 in a month selling other people's knowledge and expertise using this model. This is Imran. He's in the supplement space, and he used one component of our model and had his first $10,000 sale within a week of joining us. Anyway, the list goes on and you can see the other people.
I was reading an email that you guys had sent out and like to your list or whatever. And it was like, oh, check out this student, they did like 17K in a day, and there's a screenshot of it. And I was like, wow, this person did 17K a day? And I scroll in and it was me. I'm like, we did that, oh my gosh.
My business partner just got on the phone with them and closed them, and we were able to get a $10,000 sale. Once that hits your, once you see that PayPal Stripe, it feels like, shit.
I followed what they said, and we started getting sales immediately at the $17 per book sale, not free, but actually per book. And then we started getting people who upgraded. 17 became 97, 97 became 495, and then 2 or 3 weeks later, they scheduled on my calendar for a $5,000 sale.
This is the best model in the world. In fact, these guys work with me, and here's what happened. I launched it. 5 days later, we sold over 7,000 books. I mean, it's insane. We did well over 6 figures in just 1 week.
For the higher tier package, it's like a $10,000 package. I know that like the other week he sold 3 or 4 of those.
So he told me that on Friday, launched on Sunday, sales Sunday night, sales Monday, So I told them, I'm like, it's funny. I'm like, I went from calling something stupid to not know anything about it, to finding random people that I've never even met, hand out money to me virtually.
For anybody that wants to penetrate their market, bring in leads and close them on a high ticket program, 5K, 10K program, this is the best model.
I've spent a lot of time studying, reading books, getting designations, double major in college, like doing a lot of different educational things. And I can say for certain that some of the theory and the concepts around psychology of sales and marketing, I'm getting like a in-depth marketing and psychology degree.
You know, the skill set I've acquired has let me get back to market even through these times. And you know, now we've sold 200-300 units of our latest offer.
Most of the time when I see somebody selling a course on how to write VSLs, they're selling it through a webinar, not through a VSL. And if they're selling you a course teaching how to create high converting webinars, a lot of times they're closing you over the phone. They are not practicing what they preach. There's no truth behind what they are actually trying to sell you. That's not the case with Automatic Clients. The entire book, they're telling you how to build a system to get a lot of customers in right away, and how to upsell them from something very inexpensive to very high ticket. And they're using the exact system that they teach.
As somebody who reads about 100 books a year, I actually think you've done a really good job. I mean, I was kind of shocked with it, I don't mean to be rude, but a lot of times when someone puts their first set of thoughts together, it becomes really just noise and not really well organized. So I thought it was well formulated, well organized, something that anyone can kind of read, follow, and move forward with. So I'm going to recommend this to my investees. Like, this would be something to any of them that are in the B2C space. I think they absolutely have to read.
I think the biggest takeaway is like just providing as much. Like, I know that lots of people talk about it, but in reality, not a lot of people do it. Is providing as much value in the products as possible, so they can be standalone products, but also part of the funnel. And therefore going to get much better results.
Probably the biggest takeaway I got from the book was the idea. So historically, when I thought about upsells, I've always thought of them as like this. You buy the product like a book, and then you would buy like the fancy course, and then you buy like the more expensive thing of the same thing. But the way the book differentiated that was it wasn't about just offering more and better. It was kind of like the book creates a problem, and then upsell 1 is designed to solve that problem, which then creates another problem, and then upsell 2 is designed to solve that problem. And then ultimately it creates this great big problem that the 5K upsell is designed to alleviate.
And right now we just launched, and I literally had a sale after 4 or 5 clicks.
And then ultimately, knowing the experience that you and Alan have, I knew it was just going to save me a ton of time and mistakes and money in like making those mistakes and figuring it all out in order to reach that new level of growth.
And very quickly, I realized that this was going to be a game changer, because the tactical approach and the systems that they gave me, really quickly helped me do things like write a book. And here it is. And to be able to say that, hey, I'm an author, was a pretty cool thing. And so the content inside of Automatic Clients is really useful.
The reason this model works is because we run 2 funnels in one, all right? The first funnel sells the book and a few upsells, and we call this our customer acquisition funnel. We aim to make 10x of the book price on the front end. So a $5 book will generally make $50 on average, but we make 0 profit here, okay? We only aim to break even because we put all of that money back into advertising. So the first front-end funnel acquires the customer for us effectively for free, right? Then, once we acquire the customer, we offer to help them implement the information that's in the book, and some of those low-dollar customers, they end up spending $5,000 to $10,000 for our consulting program. And the timeline from getting that $5 sale to turning that customer into a client, spending $5,000 to $10,000 is about 7 days on average. Now, here's how this works from start to finish. Let me kind of walk you through it, right? So step number 1, you want to pick a market where you can offer value, and I'll tell you more about this later on. Step 2, you want to discover your unique superpower and your disruptive idea. Your unique superpower is all about like, what's the thing that you're good at helping people with? And your disruptive idea is what helps you cut through that noise in that marketplace and kind of stops your target market in their tracks and instantly gets them to pay attention to what you're saying. Then step number 3, we have, this idea of creating a high value, low price product. Write a book, make a course, offer a report. It can be anything as long as your market finds it valuable, and it has to be inexpensive. We like books because books give instant credibility. So while you don't necessarily have to sell a book, we definitely recommend it if possible. And as mentioned before, we have clients like Mike Gandia. They find and publish experts who have, huge YouTube channels or Instagram followings and so on, just other people who have expertise. So Mike and other people like that, they use this model, they publish other people's knowledge, and then they still keep a large part of the profits. Next is step number 4. This is where you create the bigger, faster, stronger upsell path. This will allow you to get that 10x on your front-end product. So if your product is $5, then you should be able to make $50 on day 0, allowing you to acquire those customers for free. Then we have step 5. We engineer what we call the awareness bridge. So the end customer is fully aware of the problem that they're having, which naturally leads them to signing up for your $5,000 to $10,000 backend programs. And if you do all of this right, you're gonna have a 75% closing rate with a very natural, consultative way of selling. We don't like that sort of, pushy, manipulative kind of sales tactic. We tried, closers like that. And the issue is they just produce really bad clients. So this way is more of a natural kind of consultative way of selling where you're actually helping people and then you just, implement the solution with them. So here's the thing, if you get this right, when those leads come to you, the only question they'll have is, how much, like what's the price? Because at that point, you would have given them so much value and they know exactly what your program is about. So that's how that works, and it works really, really well. And there you have it. Those are the 5 steps to freedom and the 5 steps to being able to acquire 300 plus customers a day. Now that's the short version of it and how it all works, and the full version with all of the step-by-step details, instructions, and illustrations, they're in this 340-page book that we wrote for you. I know some of you're watching this, you might think that it's a little bit complex, but I promise once you kind of get it, it's super easy and you'll be able to recreate this selling machine in any market. In fact, we have people doing this in all kinds of different niches, and whether it's consulting or dog training, relationship, software sales, credit repair, ad agencies, we have nutritional supplements, weight loss, financial advice, car dealers, dentists, like literally any niche that you can think of. It works in pretty much any niche. We spent the last 7 months writing it, and again, here it is. We call it Automatic Clients. It's 21 chapters, it's 340 pages, and it's a real book. It's a thick book, and there's a reason that it's a real book and a thick book, because a lot of people out there are selling these kind of marketing books that are just designed to sell you something else. But this is a real book, and the reason why it's a thick and a real book is because we wanted to give you everything that you need to do this without having to buy something else from us. So no, you don't need to join our coaching and consulting program to be able to do this. We kind of operate on this philosophy of like, let's give everything away instead of holding back the way that other people do. So we don't really believe in that. And so we put it all in there. And for $5, you can download this book in an ebook format, and you can learn how to generate 100 to 300 customers per day. So all of the details are on this page, but I want to tell you about some of my favorite things that are in the book. So let's dig into that. If you don't know what market to enter and sell to, you're going to discover the exact process that we use to identify a highly profitable yet sustainable market where the actual needs of the customers are not really being met, and then how to actually figure out what to sell those customers. So it's in the book on page 189. Next up is how to beat your competition using economics and why they really can't do anything about it. And this really works regardless of market size or level of competition. And in fact, it works better the bigger the competition is. And so economics is very important. It's on page 117, and that is not a concept that you want to miss. Next up is a really interesting one. It's the secrets behind fame and how fame works. So you can engineer it in your business and maybe for your personal brand, making it the single biggest hidden, untapped asset in your business. It's a really fascinating concept, and it's a really fascinating thing to look into. So more about fame on page 62. Next up is why content marketing is the single most unsustainable method of acquiring clients and what to do instead. This is very important. There are so many people out there, you may be watching this and resonating with it, that are relying on constantly creating content to sustain their business and to get new clients. It is unsustainable, and we show you how to fix that on page 74 in the Automatic Clients book. Next up, we have why your customers are not all the same and how we use our 3 levels of customers concept to ascend them into high-paying programs. And all of this is explained on page 81. It's also very, very interesting, and you'll stop looking at all customers as the same, and you'll realize that they all fall into 3 different buckets. The next thing is the single biggest mistake that businesses make when they focus on marketing and what to focus on instead. And I'll give you a hint right now. It's problem solving, right? Most businesses, they put all of this attention on marketing and they don't actually think about solving a problem for a customer. But we dig more into this on page 94. It's very important. Very, very important. Next up is why you should build your offers to sell on mobile devices first, and how that automatically increases desktop conversions as well, which results in, more back-end sales. This is another one of those really important topics. It's on page 111, and we kind of came upon these results through accident. So really, really interesting stuff. Then we have secret conversion rate optimization concepts that most of you have never heard of before. It's where you optimize everything from back to front, completely opposite of what everybody else is doing. And this is why we're generating results that few people are getting. Really, really fascinating stuff that's going to increase your conversion rates. Take a look at that on page 143. And then we have a simple process for writing sales copy that converts without taking all that time to become a world-class copywriter. This is the same formula that we use, that our clients use, and that's broken down in detail on page 165. Then we have the secret tri-page design, where we combine CPA offers, e-commerce offers, and traditional long-form sales letters to get anywhere from 13 to 22% conversion rates from cold paid traffic, and how you can copy this design and use it to sell your own products and services. All right, we're going to illustrate that for you and show you all the details on page 212. Then we have how to create your sales funnel in 1 weekend and your entire product suite that's not only going to sell your product, but also deliver results to your customers and your clients. This is super important, and you'll find the exact how-to on that on page 207. Then we have the exact psychological process that we use for easily closing $5,000 to $10,000 deals with 1 Zoom call. And a little warning here, this is so powerful that we often have to reject people from joining our program for 2 reasons. Number 1 is that we can't help them, or number 2, we don't want to help them because they sell like scammy products or whatever. But that happens a lot because if you do all the things that we show you in this book, you're gonna have people wanting to buy your stuff, and sometimes, we don't want them to buy our stuff. So that's explained in detail on page 245. Then we have scaling secrets that allow you to turn your offer into an actual business and help you scale to 7 figures and beyond, and everything that you need from how to run the ads, to generating those back-end sales that make a really, really big difference. So just turn to page 255 in here to see that. And then of course we have a couple of bonuses. So you're also getting our internal list of 2,874 highly profitable niche markets. All right. So one of the biggest questions that we get when people join Automatic Clients consulting program or they buy the book is, what market should I go into? And of course we wanted to help solve that. So now it's easy. You pick one from this spreadsheet of 2,874 profitable niches that we have. And this is a list that we use internally as well. The other bonus that we have for you is we're also giving you our best Facebook ad, which generated over $200,000 in revenue. You can copy it. I don't care. Go ahead. We'll give it to you. And you'll get access to all this stuff, as soon as you pick up the Automatic Clients book. But I'm not done. We got more bonuses for you. So we're also giving you our 7-figure VSL script. It's the one that we use for our internal projects. It's the one that we give to all of our clients. It increased our conversions by 37%. And this very video that you're watching right now is using this script as well. So we use it, our clients use it, and you're getting it with your purchase of this book. So all you got to do is, read it and kind of implement it for your own offer, and it works. Then we have a really cool one. This is our internal economics calculator. So before we go into a new market, we need to know how much revenue our offers are going to bring in, right? And we want to be able to predict that. So we developed this economics calculator that within 90% accuracy, it will tell us how our funnel is going to perform in any given market. And then we use that as our baseline for optimizing the offer. So when we actually actually go live, we have numbers to compare to, and then we can optimize based on, we can see like, oh, this product should be selling better or whatever. And so you can use our internal calculator, which is really, really useful. So again, you get access to all of this stuff as soon as you download the Automatic Clients book. But here's how this is different, okay? This is not a free plus shipping thing where we're tricking you into something that you think it's not, all right? I'm gonna respect your intelligence here, and I'm gonna let you know that for this book, there's no expiration date. I don't need to give you some fake scarcity. You can get the book today, you can get it tomorrow, you can get it next month, you can get it next year. To us, it really doesn't matter when you get it, right? 5 books is not gonna make or break our business. But I feel like you should know this one thing. You should be aware of this one thing before you decide to wait. Now, there's a saying that goes, marketers ruin everything. It's sad, but it's true. You know, first people did long form sales letters, selling $97 courses and stuff like that. Conversion rates were really high and now they're dead. Then you had people doing VSLs making, you know, $20, $30 per click. And now you'd be lucky to get 2 to 3. Then of course people butchered webinars and they would get, you know, $300+ per attendee. And now if you're good, you're looking at getting a fraction of that. So marketers, they find things that work and then they beat them to absolute death, to the point where they no longer work and they're no longer effective. And guess what? This is no exception. So this model works really well today. It's still gonna be working a year from now, but in 3 years, the market is gonna be full of so many books that it's gonna be ineffective. And marketers again would have ruined another strategy that people can use to get clients. Of course, after that, we're gonna discover and develop something new, but you know, this is the way it is. And so there's no urgency from our end. You can buy the book today or next year, I don't care. But it's in your best interest to use this model when it's the most effective, and the model is the most effective today. And tomorrow, it's gonna be just a little bit less effective. So that's how it works. And those that get in early and they start using things that work early, they get the best results, and everybody else, they have to work twice as hard and they get the leftovers. And anybody who's been in the industry for a long time or try to sell things online for a long time, they've seen this happen and they know how that works. So the choice is yours. I would obviously recommend you get this book today. It's 340 pages and it's some of our best stuff. So get in early, get the results, and of course, if you're not happy, you know, we'll give you a refund, 30 days. Just hit us up. If you are not happy, we'll give you a refund. You can keep the book, and there's zero risk other than just taking the time to pick this up and read a couple of pages just to kind of see how things are really done behind the scenes and how they make this work, and to see how that can work for you and how that can work for your business. So with that, I don't want to go on any longer. I'm signing off on behalf of myself, my partner. We will see you inside of our Facebook group after you pick up the Automatic Clients book. And that's it for me. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you soon.